Yeah, I think China's a good example of this. I think because you can see even we talked earlier about intellectual property rights, right?
Yeah.
China basically flagrantly disregards that and every other single part of the liberal international order that every other country follows to the T because of this sort of belief in. I think again it's this sort of entrenched belief in liberalism. Like even if you look at stuff like Immanuel Kant in terms of the sort of liberal international sort of peace theory that countries should agree to this kind of like base set of rules in order for them all to benefit. Obviously, China isn't part of the liberal tradition, right? They had something completely different going on with Confucius and things like that, and they don't believe in this sort of level playing field. So they'll just completely fluctuate their currency. They'll do whatever they want. They'll give people bad loans and then take off ports off them. They did it in Pakistan. They've done it in Djibouti. They do it in Malaysia. You know, you can go on and on and on. Australia, they're doing it at the moment, and you can see that there's a fundamental, I guess, a fundamental imbalance in the world between the European and the European descended peoples who believe in these sort of liberal concepts like as I brought up liberal internationalism, you could say globalism or like belief in that fairness creates like more wealth essentially. And you can see obviously you've brought up the Chinese. Those are groups that you can see expressing a more tribal desire to just acquire resources. Right.
Yeah.
If you went back 10,000 years, look at the Germanic tribes, the Vandals, the Huns, like all these groups pouring into what was then the civilized Southern Europe. You can see people. I don't want to be cringe and say Hyperborean spirit, but
Yeah.
there's that tribalness being expressed. I think to an extent, the reason that the Europeans have been domesticated is because of some of the ideas that came from the Greeks.
Yeah,
There's loads of,
a universalism,
yeah,
but I can't even say it. But yes, that.
yeah. I mean, it's a belief in a fundamental global liberal system that other groups don't have that's creating this imbalance. And you can see it's expressed constantly. It's expressed in the West, in terms of this, like, oh, well, really sorry for imperialism in the empire. We're going to have to self-destruct now. It's
Yeah.
like, ugh, do you think any other group on the planet, do you think the Mongols do that? No, of
No.
course they don't. They've got 50-foot statues of Genghis Khan in their capital. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. He was a brutal murderer. He went through murdering people's children, burning down cities. It's ridiculous.
He's quite literally Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah, he's Hitler times 500. He's ridiculous guy. He burnt down whole cities, killed millions of people. He killed something like 15% of the global population, for Christ's sake. It's absolute. It's enough to make you go completely lunatic looking at this stuff because you're like, oh, we're gonna have to take down the statue of this guy because he fought in some wars that we don't think are very nice. Ugh,
Yeah.
fucking hell. The thing is, it's what I just want. For every other society, their history is totally non-negotiable. Like you wouldn't go to Mongolia and just say, oh, you can't have that statue of Genghis Khan. He was really mean. But over here, apparently, you can just do it. Like you can. Ugh, the history of this country is completely up for debate. Like we've seen it. They had to board up statues of some guy who lived 200 years ago because of something he said in his diary. It's ridiculous. I mean,
Yeah.
no other society on planet Earth does this, and this is why the West is in destruct mode because we're questioning all these aspects of our history because we're trying to deconstruct and because we feel guilty about these things because of this liberal international system that's been enforced on us, right?
Yeah.
So, and anything that can help dismantle that is a positive thing. But
It just
anyway.
seems to me like with this.